You're 24 years old, Jerusalem, 1st century. You did something that upset the wrong people. You don't know exactly what's about to happen to you, but the Romans do. They've done this before, many times. They're very good at it. They nail your wrists to a wooden beam, not your palms, your wrists. There's a reason for that. You'll understand why in a few minutes. They raise the cross, and now you're hanging, arms above you, feet nailed below. The sun is out. The crowd is watching. Nobody's coming to help. You try to breathe, and here's where it gets interesting. You can inhale, but you can't fully exhale. And that one detail, that one biological fact is what's going to kill you. Not the nails, not the blood, your own lungs. My name is Mr. Reaper, and that 24-year-old, his name was Yehohanan ben Hagkol. We know his name because in 1968, a construction crew in Jerusalem accidentally dug him up. The nail was still in his heel bone. 2,000 years later, still there. And today, we're going to talk about exactly what his skeleton confirmed about how crucifixion actually works. Stay with me. But first, what actually killed people in Roman crucifixion? A. Blood loss from the nails. B. Their own lungs. They couldn't breathe. C. Infection after days on the cross. D. The Roman soldiers got bored and went home. Comment your answer. We'll come back to this. 1968, Jerusalem. A construction crew is digging foundations for an apartment building in the Givat Hamivtar neighborhood. They hit something. Bone. Archaeologists are called in. They find several ancient tombs. Standard stuff for Jerusalem. You can't dig 10 feet without finding someone's great-great-great-grandfather. But one ossuary, one bone box, is different. Inside, the remains of a young man, 24 to 28 years old. His name carved right into the stone. Yehohanan ben Hagkol, the same man from our story. And when archaeologists went to clean his heel bone for analysis, they found the nail, an 11.5 centimeter iron nail, still embedded in the bone, still there. After 2,000 years, they almost missed it. Initially cataloged as routine, it was only during the cleaning process that someone noticed the nail and realized what they were looking at. The only confirmed physical evidence of Roman crucifixion ever found. One man, one nail. And it was bent. Not from the impact of hammering. It had hit a knot in the olive wood of the cross, which meant when the execution was over, nobody could get it out. They buried him with the nail still in his foot. Mr. Reaper wants to take a moment to appreciate the Romans' commitment to thoroughness. Okay, moving on. The analysis published in the 1970 Israel Exploration Journal by Dr. Vasilios Tsafaris revealed more. The radius bone in his forearm showed cut marks, consistent with a nail, at the wrist, not the palm. 2,000 years of paintings, every single one of them wrong, and his shin bones, both tibiae, were broken, deliberately. That detail matters, and we'll come back to it. Here's what Yehohanan's skeleton confirmed. The nails went through the wrists, specifically through the destot space, the gap between the two forearm bones. Why does that matter? Because running directly through that space is the median nerve, one of the largest nerves in the human arm. The moment that nail went in, immediate, electric, like grabbing a live wire, both hands, simultaneously. And that was before the cross was even raised. The position itself was calculated. Arms at roughly 65 degrees above horizontal, not straight up. That's artistic license. At 65 degrees, the shoulder joints are under constant stress. Within the first hour, the chest muscles begin to cramp. And that cramping directly affects the ability to push up, which, here's where it gets interesting, directly affects the ability to breathe. The Romans didn't stumble into this by accident. They had centuries of refinement. They knew exactly what angle maximized suffering while keeping the person alive as long as possible. Brutal engineering, peer-reviewed by several generations of very motivated professionals. Now, the answer to that quiz. If you said B, their own lungs, you're correct. If you said A, C, or D, welcome to the majority. Here's what actually happens. When you hang suspended by your arms, your chest cavity collapses inward. The muscles that expand your lungs can't work properly against the weight of your own body pulling down. You can inhale, but you can't fully exhale. Carbon dioxide builds up. The urge to breathe becomes overwhelming, not from lack of oxygen, but from CO2 buildup. Your body's distress signal. It's screaming at you. To breathe properly, the victim had to push up, using the nail through their feet, straightening the legs, raising the body just enough for the chest to open every single breath. Required pushing up on a nail driven through both feet, while pulling with arms nailed at the wrists, over and over and over for hours. Remember those broken shin bones on Yehohanan? That's what those were, Crucifixion, the Roman practice of breaking the legs to accelerate death. Without the ability to push up, respiratory function collapsed within minutes. It was, in a genuinely grim way, the merciful option. Mr. Reaper has complicated feelings about a world where breaking someone's legs counts as mercy. But here we are. Now here's the layer most people miss entirely. You were conscious, fully conscious. Every time you chose to push up, every single breath was an active decision. Endure the pain in the feet. Endure the pain in the wrists. Get one more breath or don't, and suffocate. Researchers describe a threshold, the point where the pain of breathing exceeds the survival drive, where the body just stops negotiating. That threshold is different for every person, but it comes for everyone. How long did this last? This is the part nobody talks about. Documented Roman crucifixions lasted anywhere from 3 hours, when the legs were broken, to 3 or 4 days without that intervention. 3 to 4 days of pushing up to breathe, of nerve pain firing with every movement, of full cognitive awareness of exactly what was happening. The longest case recorded in ancient sources, 9 days. 9. Yehohanan was young, 24 to 28 years old, probably healthy before this, strong enough to last longer than average. Nobody knows exactly how long he lasted. The nail in his heel is the only answer he left behind. Pain level. Mr. Reaper rates crucifixion 9 out of 10. Not because of intensity alone, because of duration, consciousness, and the choice that came with every single breath. Every breath, a negotiation with your own body. Every breath, a decision to keep going, until the decision stops being possible. So, let's put it all together. Crucifixion was not designed to kill quickly. It was an engineering solution, built specifically to maximize conscious suffering over the longest possible duration, while requiring the victim's own body to participate in its own death. Every other execution method in the Roman toolkit was faster: beheading, burning, thrown to animals. Rome chose crucifixion specifically for enemies of the state, not because it was the most lethal, because it was the most public, the most prolonged, and the most psychologically complete. It didn't just kill the body, it dismantled the person, breath by breath, choice by choice, in front of everyone who knew them. And we know this, really know this, because of one man, Yehohanan ben Hakol, 24 to 28 years old, Jerusalem, sometime in the 1st century, a young man who upset the wrong people. A construction crew found him by accident in 1968, and the nail they couldn't remove 2,000 years ago is the reason we can say any of this with certainty today. The cause of death was never the wounds, it was the breathing. Crucifixion killed you by making the act of staying alive, of taking one more breath, require more suffering than your body could endure. Verified, documented, more disturbing than the myth. Pain level, 9 out of 10. Timeline, 3 hours to 9 days. Consciousness, maintained throughout. Mr. Reaper's verdict. The most precisely engineered method of prolonged suffering in recorded human history. Designed not to end a life, but to make ending it feel like the only mercy left. If this disturbed you, correct response. That means you actually understood what we covered. Not as history, not as religion, as biology. Mr. Reaper doesn't make these videos to shock. These exist because understanding how death actually works, the real science, the real evidence, the real timeline, is the most honest thing you can do with 10 minutes. Next video, we're looking at an execution method the Romans used for people they wanted to suffer even more than crucifixion. Yes, more than this. Subscribe. You'll want to be there for that one. Mr. Reaper will see you on the other side.